Welcome to another episode of Dumb Guys Talk About Fantasy Baseball. Today we're going
to talk about league etiquette, trades, that sort of thing. And we're just going to have kind of an off-the-cuff discussion.
Throw it away.
Yeah, because I think my opinion on these types of things is still in development. I haven't 100% come down with what I think. And we've had some conflicts in some of our leagues about trades, them getting vetoed, whether or not they should have been vetoed, whether or not they're fair trades, that sort of thing. And so I think what this will do is start a conversation. So feel free to give us...
I think that's what we need to do is start a conversation, because you know what? I think I'm in the same boat that you're in. I don't think I've really decided what I think, because I'm still kind of learning and hearing other people's opinion. I'm like, oh man, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. So trade-wise, like a lot of leagues do veto. We have, 4 or 5 teams have to vote veto to veto a trade in a lot of our leagues.
I think it's 4. Is it 4? Yeah.
Okay. And so we've had a long history, football, all that stuff, where some trades got vetoed, some people were unhappy about it. Then some trades went through, people thought they're unfair, and that sort of thing. And so I did some research, and a lot of writers on this subject, a lot of people that play, think that you should only veto if you think it's collusion. They think otherwise you should let it go through, because even if you think it's an unfair trade, the guy with the advantage just did a good job negotiating.
Well, I don't know if I can really agree with that, though, because my thought is if there's collusion in the league, it's not a veto. Those guys are gone. Yeah. I am kicking them out of the league, dude, because don't come into my league colluding. That's not cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a level of unfairness in a trade that it can kind of hurt the integrity of your league.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because say, if something happens, say you got somebody that's new to it, or somebody that's not up on things as much as they should be, trading with somebody that's onto it every day. Now, you might be countering this with, well, the guy should be rewarded for being more up on it than the other guy and being able to work out of an unfair trade.
The thing is that it's not just you against him, the guy you're trading with. It's you against him, and then all of the other teams are gonna reap the benefits or the take the hit from that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of unfair. So a lot of times when I go into reviewing whether I'm going to approve a trade or not, is I look at it and I say, one, is it a balanced trade? Right? Does it look like an even, fair between the two teams? And then I go, how's this going to affect my team going forward? Yeah. Right? Is this going to hurt me? Is this going to hurt my chances of winning? And I think that's one of the arguments too.
Yeah. I don't really look at how's it going to hurt my team. I think a trade that really makes sense and is fair for everybody are the types of trades where I have 2 great shortstops. He has 2 great second basemen. They trade 1 shortstop at second base to kind of fill those spots. Yeah. As 2 teams have a need, they trade comparable players to fill the needs they have.
Right.
Now, when there's such a huge difference to where you feel like, a first-rounder type level player is getting traded for a bench player, I think that's when it's so unfair that you start thinking, is this going to hurt the competitive balance of this league to where everyone's unhappy?
Yeah.
Because say if it's a head-to-head league, and say you're running the league, you don't want to have to hear all year, I'm not happy playing this guy because he got an unfair trade that should have been vetoed, type of thing.
Right.
You're going to be hearing those complaints all year.
Yeah. And what I see a lot happening too in these trade offers, and even when someone's offering me a trade, I'll turn these down, but they'll offer me 4 mediocre players for 1, first round, superstar type player. And they're like, well, you're getting 4 players for 1. Yeah. That doesn't do me no good. And when I see that out there, if I see a trade like that getting accepted, I'm going to be like, what is this? Yeah. You got 4 guys you're going to put on the bench for your starting shortstop. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. And in general, I don't like trades. I really love waiver wires. Just because I feel like to get somebody interested, I have to give up so much to where the trade doesn't help me anymore. Yeah. I'm helping somebody else out more than it is. So, but some people love the trades. Yeah. That's the one reason why they play fantasy baseball. So they disagree with me. And they love the trades.
I love trades. I love the concept of trades. I love the negotiation of the trades. However, I often find that those negotiations just go south really fast because the other teams aren't willing to give you anything of value, even if you're willing to give them value. Yeah. And oftentimes it turns into a I'm going to give you my hard-hitting outfielder for your hard-hitting outfielder. Well, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's not fun for me. So there was one year, though, and I know you'll remember this, when I was negotiating with another player. We were negotiating face-to-face over Trout. He had Trout. I wanted Trout. And we went back and forth. And finally that trade went through. I ended up getting Trout. It was like a 3-on-3 player trade.
Yeah.
And I know people were unhappy in the league about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's no matter what viewpoint you have, it's hard to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Even if the two teams trading are happy, it's like everybody outside of it complains. And so, I prefer to avoid the drama a lot of times with that. And I think my best players have been waiver wire players. So I recommend just watching waiver.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if you're savvy, you're looking at the waiver wires and you're going to be making those pickups that are going to do just as good, if not more, than losing a good player for another good player to fill a hole.
And one thing with the negotiating too is it, like you said, it goes south very quickly, because part of it is you send out an offer that you view as like a starting point for your negotiation. The other guy will respond quite often like, I'm insulted by that offer.
Yeah, right.
So that's where a lot of mine have gone, but I've had the reverse to where, like, here comes a thing. Maybe the guy's thinking this is a starting point, but it's like, I'm going, this is so far apart, I don't even want to negotiate with
There's
you.
no reason to even get going.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes that's just, it's hard to be on the same plane as somebody else, and really come to that. And like I do have a couple teams where I think I've overloaded a position. Maybe I should start thinking about a trade to make myself stronger at another position, but I don't know. It just it's hard. I don't think I'm that good at negotiating. Maybe is one part of it.
I feel some anticipation for our keeper league because I'm curious to see when the trades are going to start rolling there, because with the option of trading auction money, you've got keepers, so that adds a little bit of an incentive maybe to trade and keep somebody. I'm wondering how that's going to play out, and when, if it does, when during the year is it going to play out, because that's the type of league where I think trades are going to be very interesting, because I'd be happy to take your auction money for one of my good players if I'm losing, or if I'm in the playoffs, I would give you my auction money so that I could take your good players and have a better chance in the postseason. So, that's where I think trades are really going to get interesting, and I hope that in that league, everybody else is on that same mindset as well.
Yeah, and I know we had a football league where we made trading next year draft picks available, and nothing really materialized from it, but I thought it was a neat idea.
It was a neat idea, but it wasn't a keeper league, and so it didn't really make sense.
Yeah, because
I don't think that's why anybody went for it.
Yeah.
So
so it's those options. One thing I've always thought about is it'd be nice to have like a third party, unbiased
like
moderator, sometimes with trades or league disputes, that sort of thing. And I believe there are a couple platforms that offer that, maybe for a little bit of money. I believe Yahoo offers that.
Do they?
But you have to pay a little bit for them. But there's also some online trade evaluators which aren't 100% reliable.
I don't know about those trade evaluators,
but I like to throw them in there just to see if it's so far off that's not even the same ballpark.
Yeah.
But I don't really take it like 100% face value.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, trades always cause drama. Some people enjoy it. Some people enjoy the trades, and that's the fun part. And so
some people just get really mad.
Yeah, some people get mad.
Or some people try to take advantage.
Yeah.
And they do. They try to collude, right?
Yeah, they do try to collude. But what I'd say is I'm still developing my opinion, so please give us feedback on what you think.
Yeah, I want to hear what other people think. Because
we want to have intelligent discussions about it and just come to a good conclusion. And maybe it will help us when we form leagues in the future moderate disputes.
Right.
Because really, like, we want to keep everything civil. We want to have everybody be fun. We want to leave the league where everybody became friends, that sort of thing. But you could have negotiations, debates, things like that going on.
You had to get in there once, and you had to tell them to stop using bad language.
Yes.
We don't want no bad language.
No naughty words. But it's just, I just felt like the civility wasn't there anymore.
Yeah,
like the conversation was fine. Maybe people agreed with the trade, they didn't, but the civility wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree. I mean, you got to have some respect for the people who you're going to play in a league with, maybe for years to come.
Yeah.
Who knows? So I think this is a great conversation, and it is interesting because everybody's got a different opinion on this. I know I've got a different opinion that maybe hasn't completely solidified yet. I'm still of the opinion, like, if I'm looking at a trade and it doesn't, and it looks like it's going to hurt me, I kind of want to lean towards a veto because I just, I'd rather both teams suffer than both teams get better. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's a democracy, right? So if I'm the only one that thinks that, and everybody else is like, nope, this looks like a fair trade, and they all voted in, that's fair, right?
Well, one thing about that, if you think it should be collusion only, like the veto is almost more like democracy. It's almost like a better way to go about collusion would be to petition maybe the commissioner.
Yeah.
Unless you think the commissioner's involved, maybe you have another fail-safe. But then the commissioner can review, or you use a third party to review if there is collusion. Because it seems like voting isn't the best way to weed out collusion.
No, if that is the sole purpose of the veto power, then it's not going to do it. But again, it's like it's all about league consensus. That's how I like to run my leagues, is league consensus. And if everybody else says I want this trade to go through and I'm against it, well, better luck next time. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because I think and I know a lot of people do have a viewpoint, but just to me, voting doesn't seem to be a way to weed out collusion.
Collusion. Yeah. Oh, collusion is a scary thing, and actually, I don't think you really run into that a lot if you're just playing with your buddies. But if you're playing in a random league where you just, you randomly just get thrown into it, you could run into that.
Yeah. I've heard of some to where maybe they themselves don't view it as collusion. For example, I heard of guys that play in multiple leagues and agreeing to a trade in one league over here if you agree to a trade in this league over here, which is that's not good.
That's questionable
because that hurts both these leagues. But these guys are benefiting. Like I'm tanking in this one, winning in this one, and the guys can do that.
That doesn't sound.
So that's really collusion.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
But the guys in their own minds may not have viewed it as collusion, so they may have needed like a commissioner to step in and say no. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, right.
But voting, I don't know.
Voting's not going to get rid of that collusion, unless unless everybody sees it as collusion and everybody's like, yeah, I got to get rid of that. Yeah. But you're going to have the other side of it as well, where people are like, I just don't like that trade because it doesn't benefit me. Yeah. So I'm not going to allow it to go through.
Yeah, and sometimes people say, well, collusion is black and white because it's a last place team trading with a first place team. That's collusion.
Ooh. See, I don't agree with that because the last place team has more incentive to trade off their good players, especially in a keeper league situation.
Well, that's what they say. Is like if it's a redraft, no keepers, that sort of thing.
Then the last place team has
once you're
no
eliminated,
incentive.
like you shouldn't be able to trade anymore because you're just going to dump players.
I get what you're saying. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So great conversation though.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be learned here. Not just for you guys, but for us as well.
Yeah, and one reason we're putting this video, even though we don't have a set in stone opinion yet, is because I researched it and there's not a lot out there. There's a couple articles about it, but there's nothing that really swayed me one way or the other. Yeah. So we want to get the conversation going, so maybe we can come up with a better way to handle this in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Leave your comments and stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Ciao, guys.